at church, there there's a lot. My church it's basically like a white church.
Yeah.
And there are so many more Tongans who are coming to that church now because they're like, you know what, we can't financially afford to be a
Yeah.
part of a Tongan church anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we just want to go worship and love God and
That's
ask
it.
for forgiveness and do this. We can't afford all the other stuff. So
Yeah.
that's why we're coming here. And they drive like an hour or 2 hours out to come to this church.
Wow.
And and it just goes to show that it doesn't mean they're any less dedicated to God. It just shows that they're giving all that money. I'm like, I've never understood it, especially if it's putting the family in debt. If you got the money and you can do it, good for you. But if you don't, then you shouldn't feel that pressure.
And not only, and what the worst part of what I see is not only when you give up the money, when that money should have gone to debt, is asking the kids to sacrifice their life to pay that debt that you accumulate as a parent. Like, no, the kids did accumulate that debt. You accumulated that debt.
Yeah.
And now you're sacrificing your kids' future.
And then it's a cycle.
Exactly, that's when it becomes a cycle. Now the kids live in poverty. Now they're stuck in that poverty, you know, in their mindset and they have to give up their education, their beliefs, and what they want to do. And then for most part, they're gonna they're gonna have kids in debt. So when they have kids, they're already in debt, and then they're gonna ask their kids to pay off their debt. So it's like, and then for me, that was one of the hardest decisions for me because when I had to give up the courage to tell my family, no, I'm not gonna help out financially anymore. And that was one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to do, because I just realized that this cycle has to stop. Like, if nobody's gonna say I have to do anything, you know, I'm gonna take some time away. I knew
exactly.
Huh? Exactly.
The change starts with you.
Right, exactly. So if nobody wants to say anything, and I knew the ramifications and the criticism, the judgment I was gonna get, and one of the biggest thing I hated was when biggest thing I hated was when I did that I had the label of being a that alpha, like that alpha kid.
Again, like the trash.
Yeah, I'm like, man, you guys just forgot everything I've done, huh? All the money I've invested in, like, all those times are healthy, but just the one time I decided to like focus on myself and better myself. And like
you
said,
can't help other people unless you have helped yourself. I mean, when you're on a plane and it's literally going to crash and burn,
exactly,
you're supposed to help yourself because you can't help the kid beside you if you're dead. So you doing what you have to do to help others is what's necessary. And I think that's like when it's like that alpha, whatever, all of that irrelevant, completely irrelevant. Because at the end of the day, it's those very people who are probably going to come to you when you've made it, and they're like, "Do you remember me?
Hey, I'm the hey, remember I fed you when you were like 2 years old? I gave you I changed your diaper. Oh, we have to go that far back." Yeah. I know, and then to surround it with so different people, and then for me, like, I think one of my favorite advice I ever got from I don't know if you've probably heard of it. He's the only keynote speaker, motivational Tongan speaker I know in America that's actually being a motivational speaker. That's his full-time profession. His name is Coach Viliami Tuivai. He's on social media, so if you never heard of him, go check him out. But I actually connected with him and asked him to be a mentor. But he told me, like, one of the best advice he told me was, like, he said the problem with Polynesians is that we give out of our poverty instead of giving out of our prosperity. You know, the reason, if you look at rich people, the reason why rich people are rich is they got rich and they came back to help their family. They didn't help their family while they were broke, while they were on the process. One of them decided to take it to the next level, and then it didn't come back. And once they prospered, they came back and help out their family. And he always told me, look, no matter what criticism, no matter the hate and the judgment of people, just understand that you're more valuable to society if you're successful. You know, you're not valuable. And that changed my mindset. Oh, okay, because I used to feel the hate and the negativity. I just feel like, oh my God, like, am I that style of a kid that you know everybody thinks I am? And I used to let that get to me, but then I realized, wait, I can actually do more for my family if I strive towards my goals and dreams. If I just take some time away and just go do what I got to do, then I can come back with more resources. But I can't be as valuable as I can to my family if I'm just I'm not happy, I'm broken, and I'm financially struggling.